two facets on the head, costal groove and cup-shaped anterior end. Sir, this is a typical rib from the left side. This is the posterior end with head having two facets separated by a crest, neck, crest of the neck or crista collae costae, tubercle with a facet for the transverse process medially, angle, this is the shaft, external surface, internal surface, rounded upper border and sharp lower border, costal groove at the lower border, and the cup-like depression at the anterior end. When placed on the table, the posterior end is lifted up. This is a typical rib, that is 3rd to 9th rib. Sir, these are horizontally flat ribs, so first or second ribs. Sir, this is the left first rib because it is acutely curved and short, horizontally flat with upper and lower surface. Head has single circular facet, wide and very prominent tubercle, scalene tubercle on the inner border near the center with two grooves, groove for subclavian artery posteriorly and groove for subclavian vein anteriorly. The lower surface is smooth with no costal groove. This is left first rib. Sir, this is the second rib of the left side. It is semicircular, horizontally flat but larger than the first rib. Head has two facets, neck, tubercle with facet for transverse process. This is external surface with a ridge for the scalenus posterior, and laterally rough tuberosity for serratus anterior. Lower surface shows a shallow subcostal groove, and this is cup-shaped anterior end. This is the second left rib. Sir, these are relatively short ribs with pointed ends, no cup-like depression at the tip. When placed on the table, posterior ends are not lifted up. So these are 11th and 12th ribs. Sir, this is the 11th rib of right side. The head has a single large articular facet. There is no neck, no tubercle, shallow angle. The anterior ends are pointed, no cup-like depression at the tip, and it has a shallow costal groove. And sir, this is 12th rib of the right side. It is shorter in length with single large articular facet on the head, no neck, no tubercle or angle, no costal groove, and the anterior end is pointed. Compared to the 11th rib, it is shorter and has no costal groove. Sir, this is sternum, flat, plate-like and convex forwards with manubrium, body and xiphoid process. This is a fused manubriosternal joint, and this forward projection is the sternal angle. The upper border shows suprasternal notch or jugular notch in the midline with oval clavicular facets on either sides. The lateral border shows facets for the costal cartilages. First, second at the manubriosternal joint with half facet on the manubrium and half on the body. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh at the zipisternal joint. The anterior surface of the body shows three transverse ridges representing lines of fusion of the four sternebrae. The xiphoid process here is fused and has a pointed tip. In the other sternum, we see a facet for xiphoid process. Sir, this is articulated male pelvis. It has two hip bones, the sacrum and the coccyx. This is the pelvic inlet. The cavity below it is the true pelvis or lesser pelvis, and the cavity above it is the greater pelvis or false pelvis. The pelvic inlet is bordered by the sacral promontory, the ridge between the superior and anterior surfaces of sacrum, the arcuate line of ilium, the pecten pubis, and the pubic crest. The part of the pelvic brim on the hip bone is termed as linea terminalis, that is the arcuate line, pecten pubis, and pubic crest. Sir, the pelvic outlet is bordered by the pubic arc anteriorly, then the ischial tuberosity, lesser sciatic notch, the ischial spine, greater sciatic notch, and lateral margins of the sacrum and coccyx. In life, lateral margin is formed by the sacrotuberous ligaments from the sacrum and coccyx to the ischial tuberosity, so the outlet appears rhomboidal. Sir, the greater pelvis is formed by the iliac fossae, base of sacrum, and anteriorly the lower part of the abdominal wall. There is no bony wall anteriorly. The lesser pelvis or true pelvis is walled by the pubis, body, and rami anteriorly, pelvic surface of ilium and ischium laterally, and anterior surface of sacrum and coccyx posteriorly. Sir, in anatomical position, anterior superior iliac spines and symphysis pubis are in the same vertical plane, and the upper end of sacral canal is directed vertically upwards, so that the pelvic surface of the pubic symphysis faces backwards and upwards, and the pelvic inlet faces forwards and upwards at about 50 to 60 degrees. Sir, the pelvic inlet is heart-shaped. The subpubic angle is acute and sharp at 50 to 60 degrees. The medial edges of the ischiopubic rami are everted for the attachment of the crura of penis, and the distance from pubic symphysis to the anterior margin of acetabulum is equal to the width of the acetabulum. The other differences are the obturator foramen is vertically oval, greater sciatic notch is narrow, and the articular area on the superior surface of sacrum is more than the width of the lateral part or ella. So this is male pelvis. Sir, in a female pelvis, the pelvic inlet is larger and more circular. The subpubic angle is wider, 80 to 85 degrees. The ischiopubic rami are thinner and very mildly everted, and the acetabulum is smaller than the distance from pubic symphysis to the anterior margin of acetabulum. Also, the obturator foramen is smaller and triangular, the greater sciatic notch is wide, and the articular area on the superior surface of sacrum is equal to the width of the LA. Sir, at the inlet, this is antero-posterior diameter from the upper border of symphysis pubis to the sacral promontory in the midline. The transverse diameter is the diameter at the widest part of the pelvic brim, and oblique diameter is from one iliopubic eminence to the opposite sacroiliac joint. At the inlet, the antero-posterior diameter is the shortest. At the outlet, this is the antero-posterior diameter from the tip of the coccyx to the lower border of symphysis pubis. The transverse diameter is between the two ischial tuberosities, and the oblique diameter is from the junction of ischiopubic rami to the midpoint of the sacrotuberous ligament. Here, the transverse diameter is the shortest.